Hello, YouTube Pipe community. Sow Dog Piper coming to you today in the treehouse. Wanted to do a few shout outs. I've been telling y'all I was going to do some shout outs for a while. And the shout outs I'm starting with are some new people to me. Some of you guys, if I don't mention you, I'll probably mention you later on. These are just some new people that I have found that I've started following recently. But today I'm not smoking my pipe. I am smoking a Perdomo Fresco, and I haven't had a cigar in a while, and I'll have to admit, this is not a very good cigar in my opinion. I don't like it. But I'll be danged if I'm going to let it go to waste. That ain't happening. It was a cheap cigar from my local brick and mortar, but yeah, I'll tough it out. And tonight, for you adults, we are having some pink homemade lemonade with some vodka. And it is very, very good and refreshing for a warm summer's day. Normally I like bourbon with a cigar, but I'd already made that drink, so I'm going to drink it. Anyway, so these are some of the people I gotta have notes. I can't remember them all, and I'll try to link them down in my comment section. But Pipe Lounge 1776, been watching some of that. The Pipe Hunter, been watching that one. Fritz, Lord, I can't read my own handwriting. I think that's Fritz Irwintz 516. I'm gonna double check that one. Florence. I'm gonna have to double check that one. I just scribbled it down the other day when I was watching it. Obviously 209 Piper. Carolina Kirk 70. Everybody is probably getting familiar with Walt. Carolina Kirk 70. He is doing some amazing things for the YouTube pipe community. Gridiron Piper. I like watching him. Bobby Six Guns. Lower score after hours. Bobby Six Guns, lower score after hours. I Am Big Zach. Been watching I Am Big Zach. And then there's Delta Kilo 317. And that's just a few people. Oh, here's one I put up here at the top. Jerry Xfy, Jerexify. And then Piper 81. I don't know why I put them in a different place. I got too much chicken scratch on here. But yeah, it was a pretty uneventful day today at work. I want to talk about common sense a little bit, though. I think there's a good majority of the people that do have common sense. But I tend to deal with the people that don't have common sense. So sometimes I wonder. Got a case in today where some people came down from another state to purchase a vehicle. When they arrived at the location to purchase the vehicle, they immediately recognized the person they were going to purchase it from, which was a female, appeared to be under the influence of drugs. So she happened to tell them that this particular vehicle was about 10 houses down, and asked if she could ride with them down to the house to show them the vehicle. And they did. They drove down to the house where the vehicle was, and the vehicle was there. And they both, it was a father and son, both got out of their vehicle they drove down in and left her in their vehicle. So they went and test drove this other vehicle and decided they liked it. Came back, paid this lady for this vehicle, and I'm not sure yet. We haven't figured out yet if this is going to be a legit sale or not. They proceeded to head back to Tennessee, where they live. Well, as they're getting back home, they realize that a wallet full of money and a cell phone is missing out of the vehicle they drove down there in. So what does that tell you? They left somebody that was under the influence of drugs that they didn't know in their personal vehicle, and left a wallet full of money and a cell phone in the vehicle with this crackhead. What do you think is going to happen? You think this crackhead's going to be like, oh, I'm not going to touch this wallet full of money and this cell phone? That's not how a crackhead operates. So, needless to say, we've got to track down this crackhead now to try to figure out, one, if she took it, which she probably did. It's called probable cause, and it's probably probable that she did take it. And then we've got to try to get warrants on her. The biggest thing is trying to figure out who she is and if she really lives at the address where they picked her up at, and if the car that she sold them was really her car, because I've dealt with that several times where people sell cars that don't belong to them. And you wonder how this stuff happens. It happens. I deal with a lot of people that don't use common sense. So anyway, that's my little bit of a ramble for the day. Just be smart about things. If something's not right, then walk away from it. It ain't worth all the hassle and headache of it. If we can't find this girl, obviously she can't be arrested. And I'm sure she used a fictitious name. So probably the name we have is not even real. And it was off of Facebook. And Facebook does not like working with law enforcement at all, even when you send search warrants and subpoenas to try to get information. So we're probably at a dead-end road with this case, and these people are probably going to be out their wallet, their money, and their cell phone, just because they decided not to use common sense and walk away from a transaction when they knew this person was under the influence of drugs, and decided to leave them in the car. I don't know. Well, we're having some pretty weather in Alabama today, North Alabama. We're supposed to have storms later this evening. Actually, we're supposed to be here already, but we hadn't seen any of them. It's about 83 degrees, which 83 is warm for me. I know like some people like warm weather, but I like the weather a little cooler. I'm hot-natured as it is. I've had to reposition myself in the treehouse this evening because the sun is starting to set, and the sunlight's coming through, and it was blinding out the camera where I normally sit. I didn't want that to happen. But I saw where well, I can't remember who it was that I saw now that got the it was Porch Viper Tom. He got that tripod, which I think is pretty cool. Hopefully that'll mean he can get outside and do some filming outside now and go different locations, and maybe even set it up in his brick and mortar shop that he showed us. That's a pretty cool looking place. A lot of history behind it. even though they're in a different location. It looks like that new owner, or I say new owner, the owner of the shop, it looked like her father had started that, which was pretty cool. And I really enjoyed him sharing his story about his grandfather. And it looks like Carolina Kirk Walt's on the road right now, or has been on the road going to a new job. Wishing the safe travels and best of luck to him. And then I watched Armchair Piper's video about his mom and the girl, I think it was Girl Scouts. And that was a pretty neat story. So if y'all have not looked at his video today, check out Armchair Piper and watch his video. It's pretty cool, the history of things. I had a great-grandfather that was in World War I, and I have just a little bit of memory of him. I don't have a lot of memory of him. He made it through the war. I always remembered him as an old man sitting in his favorite chair. In the living room of the house he built when he was a young man. Didn't talk a lot. He was a pretty quiet man. But it was just, I didn't really know what to think about him as a young kid. He kind of scared me a little bit as a young kid, sitting over in the corner in his chair, just kind of quiet and watching. And then he had a son, Gordon was his name, Gordon Loveday, and he was in World War II. And he was a young man. He wasn't but about 18 or 19 years old during World War II, and he did not make it home. He was blown up by the letter that I read from the Army. He was blown up by some sort of explosive device in the war, and he wasn't there very long when he was killed. But that was my grandmother's brother. So his name's on a monument downtown Huntsville on the World War II memorial. I found it, and he's buried in one of our local historic cemeteries here in Huntsville, Alabama. And that's where the majority of my family's buried. But it's neat to go to the cemetery sometimes and see the memorials and where the veterans are laid to rest and things like that. Makes you really think about what sacrifices were made for us, and how we're able to live free, and how the rest of the world to an extent is able to live free. I know I was talking to somebody today, corresponding on email, where they live in another country, and it is nowhere near as good as it is in the U.S. As many problems as we have over here with government and different things and parties and stuff like that, it's still not as bad as some of these other countries that claim that they're not a dictatorship, but make a lot of horrible decisions for their people that they're supposed to be representing and make things better for. It all goes back to power. These people want power and money, and they don't care what happens to the common folks in some of these countries. I've got a yabo to do coming up soon. I received a package in the mail yesterday, I believe it was, from Kirk, Carolina Kirk. I haven't opened it yet. I wanted to do it on video. I probably should have done it this afternoon, because it's about to kill me not opening that box to see what's in it. But I wanted to probably do that either tomorrow or Saturday when I have a little more time, although this video's gone on probably long enough. Well, anyway, I hope y'all have a good day, and I hope y'all have a good tomorrow and a weekend, and a year for that matter. And then maybe y'all can think of another police story for too much longer, and give y'all a little action or something. Well, y'all have a good day, and I'll see you later on. Bye.